Destin, South Carolina is a lonely little place, seen just south of Columbia along 321. It's just a small clump of the missing happened piece of pie on the United States plate that we call South Carolina. The population has almost never gone over 2,000, and it's only 3-4 square miles across in all directions. It feels even loneless when you come in from a place like Roanoke, Virginia. After Mom lost her job, we moved to the only place where the rest of her family resided, good old South Tetlish. I had been mopping on the tree the whole time on the way down there. The way I saw it, the only friends I was going to be making here were the fire ants and that inferno of a sun. Once we got settled in 3-4 Tiziana Drive, I always remembered the address because the number in it was carved into the driveway's spelled hole. If you looked at it upside down, I immediately set out into the neighborhood in search of friends. I didn't know how to ride a bike at the time, and I barely knew how to ride a skateboard, so I pretended down a long stretch of a road directly across from the front of the house. Cheap little Walmart, but until I came to a small cul-de-sac that seemed to go uphill. Sitting outside on his front porch was a chubby kid with glasses that looked about 10 or 11 about my age. At the time, I really had no one else to talk to, so I asked his name was, and he told me that he was Terry. He liked to be outside a lot, and didn't, but we both seemed to like video games. With that, would get along just fine. There was one thing that he hadn't told me. Over the next few weeks that we spent in riding around the neighborhood, he was into scary movies. I was a massive chicken when it came to anything seemed into forcing you to change your underwear every 5 minutes, so I didn't really like the respect of it. Even worse, he has tons of horror movies, action figures, lots of VHS tapes, and of all the creepy movies. You couldn't think of stacking his room every time I came to visit. He was almost certain scared the living pages out of me. When no one of those creepy Freddy Krueger dolls or forced me to watch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in the dark. His room wasn't really nice looking to begin. He had a bun head. He was an only child, and only his grandmother lived with him, in which he slept in the bottom, and his slasher flicked his action fingers and slept on top. There was loads and holes in the walls, everything generally dreamy feel to it. It made those horrifying moments of watching pure terror dart all the more lucky. One day when he realized that I pretty much hated any kind of horror movies, he threw me at me. He began telling me urban legends. Some of them were about the town as a whole, but more than not they were about our particular neighborhood. I didn't really believe in any of them. Daddy told me about the Handyman Hill. It was about a year after we met each other, and we were riding around the neighborhood. By this time, Terry had told man up, and he said eventually taught me how to ride a bike. He taught me when we were running in front of a house. We had sympathy and thought the correct snap, due to his resonance, being stoned out their minds on a regular basis. They seemed to be peering out at a small pathway behind the place that went up the farther you went past. He was usually the leader when it came to showing me new places in the neighborhoods, so I didn't question a thing when we beckoned for me to follow me up the trail. It was pretty steep climb up the side of the hill, with plenty of sands and rocks to send anyone not being careful straight back down the fell line through the trees were closing in tighter and tighter on us until we see the large opening at the top besides the empty soda bottles and using condoms, the only man-made thing in the area that I could see were long stretches of telephone poles going across a series of dry hills, if not for the two strips of heavy forest. On the either side of these hills, it might have gone on forever. The area didn't seem to have any particular importance. I had expected to bring me some awful cemetery, but in the dying light of the late afternoon sky, those rolling hills looked beautiful. I thought he might try something desperate, last attempt to scare me, but instead he just turned to me with the most serious, grim face I ever seen. "Here we are, Honeyman Hill," he whispered. "Honeyman Hill? Is this another one of your stories?" "Sort of expect this one's true." I rolled my eyes at the truth. How did possibly expect to believe any of these stories? He just kept staring me at this with that face waiting me to spawn. How could it even be Honeyman Hill? There's no Honeyman. There's at least 5,000 hills there. Right down there, look. He pointed his finger toward the nearest telephone pole, sitting between the two closest to hills, a small creek no more than 5 across ran between two hills went toward never-ending forest. There was no Honeyman, but the pole itself seemed more ominous than the rest. "Roy Terrace," he ripped. "Who? Would have been a Honeyman without a Honeyman, would it?" He bowed down the first hill on the place oranges of the keep it up. One word and spotting truth don't seem to meet. There was a faulty sheen on my cheek, to the right by the stitch from the scenery. Trees had rooted themselves to the ground, and were now descending into the deadly sheen, with one mighty thread of hedge root by it. I was head over handlebars all the way to the bottom. I landed on my knees with a small sploosh sound as like the water couldn't have been more than a few inches deep. I almost called for help from Terry, and I realized that he had stopped at the bottom just before I had tumbled to the track alongside him. His head was peering up, looking straight to the top of the dark and shadow-looking telephone pole. "A little help?" I squeezed. Terry approached his with the pole, just enough to wrench me from the tree and get me to the feet. After that, his stare continued to be fixed, streaming, nothing at the top of the pole for the longest time. "What is to is that you're looking for again?" I groaned in frustration. I was going to be pretty pissed if he had taken me down, and I had done a tree. Was bending on me and I noticed the pain before because the water in the stream was cool, but now strewn like the Dickens. Roy Terrence, owner of the small shed just beyond the trees over there. I hadn't noticed the shed before. It sat just behind the large hole. Didn't have been better outside put together. After his wife let him introduce himself, or words above us tops didn't find much. Shared asked what used to be a man legend says, whoever is out there, he says time dead. Or the dead that's turned up on the wires with it. Oh, and when would that be? For once he approached seriously. I don't know. He was bad to the tree attitude, and you're suggesting that we stay away from him and despising to the many excuses that I have to dispute. I think I'm going to, though it's late, and Mom is meeting me and I have to go home. Fine, tell your mom that you're sleeping over at my house tomorrow. That'll do the vice versa with my grandma. Meet me there at 7. And chance my better judgment, Daddy said, well, then I might as well. Tom, what harm did it do? Obviously he was lying. And if nothing else, it would set my mind. And that it was, while none of these stories actually seemed true until to this sudden change tone he made it slightly more believing when he had told it to his stories. He was trying so hard that one might think that he snorted, at least upon a happening threat. When we headed home, Lester and Horace left the style and asked, why do you get so serious about that? You're always such a total goofball. I lost my grandpa, Roy Terrence. My grandma was with him when it happened. Have you ever wondered why she so grumpy all the time? His grandma was in fact very cross. I had never thought it as why she was that way. If it was what all some elaborate oaths by Terry, I was going to sleep into the next Tuesday when it was done. That I might have had a horrible nightmare like most people. I can remember about one. And I had Roy Terrence all over, even thought I was roasting on that hot South Carolina. I had woken up with the chills.